So in a market where you can find fat tire e-bikes for under $1,000 all over the place, and some of these being really big name brands nowadays, the question I have is, does the Actbest Blazer ST actually have a place in this market? Coming in at $899, I'm not really sure where this bike fits in when comparing to its competition. But today, I'm gonna go over all the details, the specs, and then also point out a few things that I think Actbest could do better, but also find out if saving a little bit of money by spending only $899 on this full suspension fat tire bike is really worth it. Let's go ahead, let's get into it. All right, guys, I wanna let you guys know this video is sponsored by Actbest. So if you wanna pick up your own Actbest bike, definitely check out my links in the description below. All right, let's get on with the review. All right, guys, let's do the pedal assist test out here on the Blazer ST. This has 5 pedal assist levels. This is using a cadence sensor. This right now is on pedal assist 1, and we're getting 8 miles an hour. Pedal assist 2, we're getting 12 miles an hour. Pedal assist 3, getting 17 miles an hour. Pedal assist 4, 21 miles an hour. Pedal assist 5, see what it actually will do. Starting some ghost pedaling here. And I'm showing 27, 28 miles an hour is what it's topping out at. All right, and per your guys' request, I did get a GPS here to match the speed. So we're gonna get this thing all the way up to what it can max out at and see what the GPS says, which should be pretty accurate. Just using throttle here. Screen shows 26, but my GPS is showing a little bit lower, about a mile and a quarter, a mile and a half slower. So 26, this is showing 24.2, 24.5, 27, it hit 25. So we're anywhere from a mile to 2 miles an hour in difference in speed. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna do the braking test to see how well these brakes actually do. Now, these particular brakes, really quick, they are hydraulic brakes. They don't have any name brand on them. They're 2-piston, and they're also 180 mil rotor in the front and a 180 mil rotor in the back. Let's go ahead, let's get this test going. And pedal assist 5, and go. And we are almost to 20 and 20. Okay, you know what, guys? It did pretty good. Let's take a look at this real quick. So a good braking test would stop me right about where it does. So these little cracks right here in this road is where I would say the good braking is. And these brakes actually performed really well, considering that this bike is a heavier bike and these are pretty much generic brakes with no name on them. I would say that this bike did a really good job of stopping. So Actbest, nice job on getting some good quality brakes in there. So real quick, guys, while we're riding this around, I do want to let you know there are links down below. So if you are interested in purchasing this product or any product that I ever review, always check the description down below. Those are affiliated. They don't cost you anymore. In fact, I may have a coupon code depending on if the brand gave me one. And if I do, that could save you a little bit of money and it comes back and helps out this channel. All right, guys, back to the review. And we're going to go ahead and move on to the next test, which is going to be the sensor swap test. We're going to go from pedaling to throttle, throttle to pedaling. We'll start with throttle and then we'll go to pedaling. This is a cadence sensor, so we'll see exactly how quick it picks up. Throttle, 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 pedal. That took about 3 turns of the pedal. Let's go ahead and let's just start again. We're going to do throttle, 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 and pedal. And there it goes, it picks up. It took about 2.5 to 3 turns of the pedal. Let's go the other direction. So we're gonna pedal, and then we're gonna switch over to throttle, and that's instant. All right, guys, we're gonna do the 0 to 20 test, and since you guys requested that I actually do a GPS verification, we're gonna go off the GPS speed, not the speedometer on the actual screen. So here we go, 3, 2, 1, pedal assist, go. Come on, go, 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 kick in. All right, here we go. There's 11, 13, 15, 17, and 20. So there was your pedal assist, 0 to 20. Let's go back and let's do the throttle. All right, guys, 0 to 20 test with the throttle in 3, 2, 1, go. Get her up to speed here. Pedal assist 5. There's 10, 13, 14, 16, 17, 19, 20. Let's go back to the studio and let's go over some more details on this bike, and then we'll come back out and we'll do the hill climb test. So now that we've done a few little tests on this bike, let's go ahead and go over some of the details and things that you'll find on this bike and some of the things that I wish that they would improve on it overall. We're gonna dive closer into this bike here in just a second, but let's go over some of the overview details really fast. For one, you do get a full suspension design. This front suspension, they do claim that it is fully adjustable on their website. And what they mean by that is it's lockout or not locked out, and there's a little bit of pre-adjustment. But let's be honest, this is a coil suspension, so the adjustments really don't do all that much. Nonetheless, you do get an air suspension in the back. However, that air suspension is not adjustable at all. So if you're expecting this bike to have an adjustable suspension and be able to dial it into your rider weight, well, that's just not the case. Really, honestly, both front and back suspension are pretty much well set, and you're not going to really feel much of a difference when you adjust the front suspension, and you have no adjustability on the rear suspension. Now, when it comes to rear suspension, they did use a horse link style design, which is pretty popular in the mountain biking industry and has been around for a very long time. It's a tried and true suspension design that will definitely do its job. Now, as far as the drivetrain goes, you are going to get a front chainring that has a double guard on it. And the main reason for this double guard is that they didn't use a narrow wide chainring on here. So this is really going to prevent the chain from falling off while you go down the road. Back here, you are going to get a Tourney TZ rear derailleur made by Shimano that's going to shift you through the 7 gears on this 7-speed freewheel that you have on the back. Now, looking back here on the back, you do get a motor that they claim will peak out at 1500 watts. Nowhere on their website do they say exactly what the nominal power is on this particular motor. My only guess is that this is a 750 watt motor with a peak power of 1500 watts. Now, sticking with the motor here, I do want to talk about this battery. This is a 15.6 watt hour battery. It is fully removable, really easy with the key on the other side. You do have a safety latch there that will prevent it from falling out. Now, with these fat tires and these bigger batteries, sometimes it's a little bit hard to get out, but I didn't have to actually turn this to be able to get the battery out. You do have a nice power switch right here, which is good to see. You can charge this battery on and off the bike with the power port right there. They do have actual indicators whether or not you've ever opened this up. So if you open it up, it does void any warranty that they offer. Now on the battery, it does actually state that this is a 48 volt, 15.6 amp hour battery, and it has 748.8 watt hours. However, the one thing I do not see on here anywhere on the battery is UL certification. So I want to jump in here real quick, guys, and address the UL certification. They said that they're in the process of actually making this UL certified. Since this bike is newer, that it does take some time, but that's what Actbest told me, and I want to let you guys know the situation on the UL certification. Putting the battery back in is just as easy as taking it out. You're just going to slide it in here, just like this. Get it lined up. Click it into place, make sure that that's locked in, you're good to go. Now up here, you do have a port where you can actually access the power switch and you can access the port right here. I've seen a lot of power switches on e-bikes before for their batteries, but I've never seen them to where you can actually access it through the port. That's actually a pretty nice feature. Nice work, Actbest. But unfortunately, this port doesn't seem to really want to stay closed all that easy. There we go, I got it. That could use a little bit of work, but otherwise, it's nice to have access to the power switch and the actual charge cord. Now, this bike does come equipped with front and rear plastic fenders, which are nice to see. Now, whenever it comes to actually installing this rear fender, it is a little bit tricky from what I experienced whenever I built this bike up. My recommendation, install the rear rack with the fender on prior to putting it on the bike. So the rear fender actually physically attaches to the rear rack. That's easier if you do this without it being installed on the actual bike. then install the rear rack and the fender all at once. Now on this rear rack, you do get this nice little taillight that will activate as brake lights, just making it a little bit safer whenever you go down the road, and it even has a license plate holder. Now they are claiming that the total weight capacity on this bike is 500 pounds. I didn't see any weight capacity on this rear rack, but I would say you're probably safe to assume that it's 55 pounds. So depending on what you're gonna be using this bike for, 500-pound weight capacity is one of the largest claims that I've seen in the industry right now. Now the Actbest doesn't come with a suspension seat post, but it does have a suspension seat, and it's actually pretty comfortable. I find that Actbest did a pretty good job of organizing the cables. They do put this little wrap around here to keep everything nice and even across the board, so you don't have to worry about your cables bouncing all over the place. The welds aren't super premium. They're not as smooth as what we see in some other brands. And down here, we can see just a little bit of pitting that has happened within the welds, specifically one right here. And then this weld doesn't look like they got all of the material off before they actually painted it. Overall, I don't think you're gonna have any issues with these welds. They're just not as smooth as, say, some of the higher end brands that we see out there that sell for a few $100s more. All right, let's take a look at the handlebars up here. You do get a nice set of ergonomic grips, a control panel that will allow you to turn on your headlight and also honk a horn. You do have your control pad right here that allows you to access your pedal assist levels, your menu, and your power button. Going over a little bit further, you do have the nice color screen with all your options we'll go over later. Your 7-speed Shimano shifter, your quarter twist throttle, and your other ergonomic grip. And throwing it on the ePro lift with the feedback sports scale, this comes in at 92 pounds, 7 ounces. Okay, so we know that this will go about 28 miles an hour. Well, there is a hack to actually be able to get this to go even faster. So this is the current setting. We'll see it hit about 32 and then drops down to right around 29. So what we want to do is be in pedal assist 5. We're going to power the bike off. Once you power the bike off, twist the throttle, hold the brake lever, and then power the bike back on. This should put it into a fast mode. Now we can let go. We saw the error message. I think that's the indicator that it went into it. Let's bump it up to pedal assist 5 and let's throttle it. There we go. 36. That is crazy. Okay, so now that we know a little bit more about the Blazer ST, let's go hit up the big hill. Okay guys, we're here at the big hill. This is a 19% grade. We're gonna do throttle and we're gonna do pedal assist. You're gonna hear all of my talking from my pedal assist. And then when we get to the top, I'll display the times. Remember, the rule of thumb is if it can make it up the hill and keep over 10 miles an hour, it's a good hill climber. If it does that with throttle, it's an excellent throttle bike. And if it does it under a minute on either of them, it's a fantastic hill climber. All right, let's go ahead. Let's get going in 3, 2, 1, go. All right, we'll get this guy going here. Get it pedaling, kick in. All right, we kicked in. We're gonna hope that this screen can stay on here. It is definitely cold out. I don't know why the screen shuts off, to be honest with you, but this is where it gets to be about, I would say, about 10% grade. We'll start shifting into an easier gear here soon. We're showing 18 miles an hour, but we know that's off by a mile to 2 miles an hour. So about 15 is what I would say it's probably going right now. Now at this driveway, this is where it gets to be the 19%, and we should be seeing some peak power on here. I'm showing 1,100 watts, so we are seeing higher wattage, but we are not seeing 1,500 watts that is claimed to do, but staying over 1,000 watts right now, and we are right around 10 miles an hour. So I would say this bike is a pretty decent hill climber, at least with pedal assist. All right, guys, with that said, let's head back to the studio, check out the menu, and go over some other details on this bike. So I do want to show you guys a quick clip of me riding this off-road. Actbest just wanted to let you guys know that this bike can go off-road. It's designed for light trails and light off-road use. It's not really designed for anything that's going to be like super rough or super technical. And also, it's definitely not designed for any kind of jumping. You may notice a sticker on the front up here that says it's not really designed for off-road use. I did talk with Actbest about that, and they did say that this can be used for light trail use like what you're seeing, and also it can be used for light off-road use. So up top here, you do get a battery bar indicator indicating how much battery you have left. Then you also get your speed down here. This is going to be your pedal assist level. This little bar is going to move up and down as you deliver power through the bike. And then down here, you do have your trip, your time, your power in watts, and then your odometer. That's going to be your full display. To get into the menu system, you just simply double tap the M. That'll take you into these settings here. So on these settings that you can actually get into, F1 is going to be your brightness. F2 is going to be your auto shutdown time. F3 is going to be your metric or imperial, so miles per hour or kilometers. F4 is going to be the number of gears, so the number of pedal assists. You got 5 on there. F5 will actually factory reset. They claim F6 is a boot up password. However, whenever I enter that in, it just errors out. I think that's actually the advanced settings, and I don't seem to have any access to the advanced settings. So that's your menu system. Let's go ahead and go over my final thoughts on this bike. So I want to let you guys know before we go, I did have 2 issues with this bike, but they were handled in a pretty easy way. One I fixed and the other one Actbest fixed. The first thing is that the screen would randomly shut off on me. The bike would still function, but Actbest is simply covering that under warranty and sent me a brand new screen. And also I did have my rear shock squeaking just a little bit. And how I fixed that was real simple. I used 2 5mm Allen keys, simply removed the shock from the actual bike so I could flip it over. I added some Tri-Flow lubricant to the actual seal and the stanchion, reinstalled it, and then cycled it a couple times, and the squeaking was gone. So those are the only 2 things that I found on this bike that I had a little bit of issues with, but easily resolved by myself and also with the help of Actbest customer service. All right, guys, there you go. That's the Actbest Blazer ST. Let me know what you guys think of this bike in the comments below. This bike was pretty fun to play around on, and it comes in at a pretty reasonable price. If they are in fact going to be UL certifying this, that will make this bike even more valuable. And I really do like the fact that you can unlock this bike and make it go quite a bit faster. It's totally up to you. It comes stock as a class 3, but if you want to break through that barrier, they do give you that option. They did give me one warning on that. Of course, it will drain the battery quite a bit faster, and that is quite a bit harder on this rear motor. So take it or leave it. You guys can either leave it as a class 3 or you can bump it up using that secret code to actually get into it and be able to unlock this and hit 36 miles an hour with no weight on the bike. So you guys let me know what you think. Do you think this bike is worth $899? Do you have an Actbest bike? Have you ever ridden one of these brands? What do you think of them overall? Let me know in the comments below. But if you guys could, if you haven't already, click that subscribe button because I've got a ton of reviews coming up, and 2026 is going to be a wild year full of all kinds of really cool e-bike reviews. And if you want to contribute to the channel a little bit more, jump over to my Patreon, Mike's Unlocked Garage. Over there, you'll get some behind the scenes stuff and early releases for as little as $3 a month. But as always, guys, get out there and ride your e-bike.